Words so sharp, they cut right through. Real talk for the soul's appeal. Prayers rise up the wounds they heal. Lift our voices to the sky. A righteous perspective high. On this path we won't back down. For the Father wears the crown. Each step brings another fight. Breaking chains, we're seeking light. Voice of power won't be tamed. With His love, we're never ashamed. Lift our voices to the sky. A righteous perspective high. On this path we won't back down. For the Father wears the crown. From the ashes we shall rise. Hope is found deep in our eyes. Every word a battle cry. With the Father none deny.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to ARP in the Morning. I am your host, Wise. I appreciate you guys pulling up this morning, man. I hope all is well with you guys. I hope you guys are having a blessed morning, kicking the day off right with me right here in these internet streets, ARP in the Morning. I appreciate you guys taking a little bit of time out of your day to hang out with me. Shout out to my folks in the chat. Shout out to all my ARP family members. Shout out to everybody that supports the channel. I want to make sure I show some love to Eric Plummer, supporting the channel on a consistent basis via Cash App. I really, really appreciate you, brother. Thank you very much. I really appreciate your support, man. If you guys would like to support the channel financially, there are a couple of ways to do so. Cash App being one of them. Those links are in the description box. You'll buy me a coffee. Obviously, joining the ARP family. There's a few other ways, super chat, super things of that nature. But I do appreciate you guys. Yesterday's show I thought was pretty good. We kept it tight, right at about an hour and a half. That is the plan moving forward, except for when we do panel shows and things of that nature. I think those, for those to go about 2 hours, I think that makes the most sense, in my opinion. I'm trying to work on broadening the horizons of the channel and of the topics that we discuss here as well. The channel and the show itself is called A Righteous Perspective, right? So we have a perspective on a multitude of things, and I want to be able to not just touch politics and what's going on politically, but I want to touch, what's going on, in relationships and what's going on, amongst men and women, what's other topics outside of what's going on, and what's trending politically. I feel like, we are in a space right now in America, and somebody else had mentioned this, to where it's we're in a space where it's good versus evil. There's a lot of evil. There's a lot of wickedness going on that needs to be discussed, that needs to be dissected. And there's also a lot of good going on that needs to be discussed and needs to be pushed to the forefront as well. So I don't want the show to only be what's going on negative in the world, or what's actually going on, in the political landscape. We're not going to get away from it completely. We're definitely not going to do that, because I think looking at what's going on politically from a biblical perspective, I think that is important. But at the same time, there's a whole heck of a lot going on, in this world, and social issues that we have going on in our country right now that I feel like need to be discussed. So we'll continue to broaden the horizons here on the channel. And I appreciate everybody that's been rocking with me. There are some folks that's been rocking with me since day one when I was doing music reactions, when I was first learning how to even be in this space. And, I'm just so thankful, for you guys that's been hanging in there with me, and kind of have watched the journey and watched the evolution, of me, being in this space. And, the goal is to try to get 1% better on a day-to-day basis. That is the goal. Shout out to, let me show some love to some folks in the chat. I want to make sure I say, show some love, man. Shout out to Kevin Caldwell. And let me make sure I put this out there. If this is your first time joining ARP in the morning, if this is your first time in the live stream, please make sure you let us know in the chat so we can show you some love, man, and give you a warm welcome and show you some nice Southern hospitality. I'm a Southerner. And show you some nice Southern hospitality, man. So if it's your first time, let us know in the chat. Shout out to Kevin Caldwell, JJ O'Hara, Lori Ottison. Appreciate you all pulling up this morning. What's up, Big Job Ford and Redefined Queen? Appreciate you pulling up this morning. What up, Donald Lovejoy? How's it going this morning? Pam Westcott, appreciate you pulling up this morning. Thank you very much. Everybody always asks about the song. I've mentioned this, I don't know how many times. I had the song created for this channel only. There's some methods to go about doing that, and I took those methods. I don't know if the artist has any other music or anything along those lines. I just gave a concept and some things of that nature, and this is what was gifted back to me as the theme song for the channel. So yeah, if I find out anything, I'll let y'all know. What's up, Buddha? How's it going this morning? Appreciate you pulling up this morning. What up, Mark Galvin? How's it going this morning? Nashville in the building. Hobo Rob Perspecting. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. What up, Brian M? Appreciate you pulling up. Thea Flies High. What up, Quincy James? How's it going this morning, brother? Hope all is well with you. Appreciate you pulling up as always. What up, Playboy Billy? What's going on with you, brother? Hope all is well with you. The other thing too is when we do the call-in shows, those can get fairly lengthy as well. So I'm gonna try to incorporate at least one of those a week. The plan is to have one call-in show a week, one panel show a week, and then we'll do what we do as well with me only, and we'll go about it that route. Shout out to KM. Appreciate you pulling up. KC Holt. Appreciate you pulling up this morning out of Missouri. What up, Billy W? H-Town in the building. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. What up, Toy Mafia? What's up, Marla? How's it going this morning? God bless America 856. Appreciate you pulling up this morning, Marla. I hope all is well with you. Shout out to who else we got up in here this morning? LJ Taylor. How you doing this morning? We got Mark. Is it Steve? Hopefully I'm pronouncing that properly. Out there in Seattle, crazy Pacific Northwest, man. Y'all got some wild ones out there, man. Goodness gracious. Shout out to Jason Adams joining the ARP family, man. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate you supporting the channel. God bless you, brother. Thank you. Shout out to Wendy. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. What up, Cool Ramon? How's it going this morning, brother? Hope all is well with you. Appreciate you pulling up. Who else we got up in here? What up, Scott Jung? How's it going this morning, brother? Hope all is well. What up, Janice Wells? Priscilla Valentine. Appreciate you pulling up this morning out of New York City. She made it. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. What up, Giants82? Appreciate you pulling up out of Pennsylvania. Thank you very much. Hope all is well. What up, Candace Hall? How's it going this morning, sister? Stacktown in the building. What up with you? What's up, Dennis? How's it going this morning? Tampon Vince and I ain't messing with y'all. What's up, Timothy Rickner? How's it going this morning? Appreciate you pulling up. What up, Stan Banks? How's it going this morning, brother? Appreciate you pulling up as well. What up, Jan Forsyth? Mary D. Appreciate you pulling up. Appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. Who else we got up in here today? Amber Young, how you doing this morning? Danielle Monye. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Or Monje. I could be wrong. What up, Jesse Hudson? Jesse Hudson, appreciate you pulling up, man. What's up with you, brother? What up, Denise? How you doing this morning? Georgia in the building. What's going on with you, Leslie Aaron? We got another Georgia in the building. Dunwoody in the house. All right, all right, all right. My homeboy, actually, my one of my best friends, he graduated from Dunwoody High School way back when. Back when we were in, I say way back when, like, well, my kids think the '90s is way back when. You start talking about the '90s, you know what I'm saying? My kids are like, the '90s, like, yeah, hey, the '90s were great. You know what I'm saying? I had to explain that to them. I was like, y'all don't even know. The '90s were awesome. Oh my goodness, man. I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change the upbringing and that time, that era for a bit. The '90s was phenomenal. I enjoyed the '90s a lot. Sitting here sipping my coffee. You know, I gotta let y'all know I'm drinking my 10 mushroom cup, 10 mushroom coffee. It's freaking delicious. But yeah, one of my guys, man, he graduated from Dunwoody High School. Appreciate you pulling up this morning, Leslie. Who else we got up in here this morning? What up, Valley Joe? Appreciate you pulling up this morning. San Francisco, we got the Bay Area up in here. All right, Vallejo, appreciate you pulling up this morning. I had just seen something, E40 came across my timeline not too long ago. What's up, William Delaney? Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Hope all is well. What up, B? How you doing this morning, sister? She says she's good morning, y'all, listening while fixing my coffee. Cheers to you. Good morning. Got to get that liquid crack. Got to have it. What up, DB? How's it going this morning? What up, Noah's Kind? Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Mother Twinkles, appreciate you pulling up this morning. Thank you very much. Who else we got up in here? Oh, we got Jason Picaro. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. PK Krillin, appreciate you pulling up this morning. PK Krillin said, you ever thought about holding church on Sundays? I'm not sure if is that question directed at me? I am not a pastor. I'm not a pastor. I'm not a reverend. I'm not a bishop. I have not been called to the ministry. I know there's a lot of people that are getting into the ministry because, you know, and a lot of people know that money, that those greenbacks, money follows the ministry. And I love the people that are in there for the right place. For the right reason. They've been called to shepherd souls. I haven't been called. I have not received that call. The Lord has not called me to be a spokesperson for Him. That hasn't happened to me yet. I said yet. That hasn't happened to me. I don't know if I even want that call, to be honest with you. That's a lot of responsibility. What's up, Mary Poen? Appreciate you pulling up this morning. What up, Will? Appreciate you pulling up this morning. What up, Billboard Builds? Appreciate you pulling up this morning. We got James White. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. All right. We're going to get the show started. Y'all make sure y'all show Priscilla Valentine some love. This is her first time joining the chat, first time joining the live stream. Y'all make sure y'all show Priscilla Valentine some love, man. Thank you very much for pulling up this morning. Thank you very much. Again, if this is your first time, let us know so we can show you some love in the chat. Please let us know. But thank you very much for rocking with me, and thank you for joining ARP this morning, man. Thank you very much. I really, really appreciate that. Shout out to Robbie Jarvis as well. First time pulling up to a live stream out of Tennessee. Y'all make sure y'all show Robbie some love as well in the chat. Thank you very much as well for pulling up. Thank you for joining ARP in the morning. Thank you very much, man. It's awesome. It is awesome. I definitely appreciate that, man. Shout out to Will. He said it's his second time joining the stream. Shout out to you. Appreciate the perspective. Thank you very much, brother. And if I missed you the first time that you joined, my apologies. Normally we don't. And Blues, please make sure y'all keep a track of, you know, when we do get somebody new and they let it be known in the chat, y'all make sure y'all keep a hold of that. Keep track of that for me, please. Definitely appreciate that. Marla said Dennis is a troll. Okay. All righty. I want to make sure I didn't miss anybody, any first timers. We got Catherine with Rail out of Rhode Island. Thank you very much for pulling up this morning. Thank you for joining the ARP family, or ARP in the morning. Thank you. Hopefully you will join the ARP family, but thank you for pulling up this morning. I really, really appreciate that, man. Y'all make sure y'all show Catherine Withrill some love in the chat, man, and welcome them into the family. Welcome them in the ARP family, man. Thank you very much. What up, Billy Jack? How's it going this morning, brother? Billy Jack is the guy with those hats, man. He's got those custom hats, man. We got Julie C out of Indiana. What up, Pam Westcott? Appreciate you pulling up this morning. We got Alicia, is it Hoag? Oh, y'all make sure y'all show Alicia some love as well. First time in the live. Y'all make sure y'all show her some love, man. Y'all make sure y'all show her some love as well. Thank you for pulling up to ARP in the morning. Thank you very much, Alicia. Appreciate you, sister. What up, Peanut the MC? Appreciate you pulling up this morning, brother. What's going on, Jason? What's going on, my brother? Hope all is well. Shout out to Dear Woke Christian, man. If y'all are not subscribed to Dear Woke Christian, y'all make sure y'all go over there and subscribe to that brother's channel. He's doing great work over there. Great work over there. What up, Marshmallow 235? What's going on with you? Appreciate you pulling it up. Mary Poen, she said, this is my first time to express my views. God bless you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for pulling up as well, Mary. Thank you very much. Hey, we are growing, man. This thing is growing. It seems like, on a week-to-week basis, we see more and more growth, in the live shows. And I'm really, really thankful, really, really grateful, and very, very appreciative, of you guys pulling up and hanging out with us, for about an hour or so, hour and a half or so. Like I said, the plan is most shows, we're going to try to keep this thing tight as much as we can. But y'all make sure y'all show all the new folks some love in the chat. This is their first time. Y'all make sure y'all show them some love. What up, Baby Lungs? How's it going this morning, sister? Hope all is well. Hope all is well. What's up, Dr. Kyla? How's it going this morning, sister? Hope all is well with you up there in Michigan. Hope all is well. Hope all is well. Shout out to shout out to Dear Will Christian with the $2 super chat. He says, this is my first time. LOL. Great show, sir. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate that, man. Y'all make sure y'all show Jason some love. This ain't his first time, though. He been actually on the show a couple of times. What's up, Jan Forsyth? How's it going this morning? All right, let's get the show started, man. Let's get things going. I want to make sure, let me scroll all the way through real quick. I want to make sure I don't miss anybody that is a first timer here. I want to make sure I don't miss anybody, but I do appreciate you guys. If you haven't done so already, man, hit that like button for me. What up, New York Shepherd? How's it going? We got Tracy Day. Appreciate you pulling up this morning as well. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button for me. We got Gino6601 out of Jersey in the building. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Thank you very much. Shout out to my guy, Gerard Caswell, with the $5 super chat. Good morning, everyone. He says, God bless everyone. Thank you very much, Gerard, man. It's good to see you, man. Good to see you. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. What up, Jesus is Lord? Appreciate you pulling up this morning. Thank you very much. Oh, we got a lot of folks that were raised in the 90s. Oh, Renee Suzanne had to bring in the 80s. Nah, the 80s was great, too. I was a little kid in the 80s, but that was a time when you could get on your bike. Your parents would lock the door so you can't run in and out the house because they don't want you letting flies in or letting the good air out. We used to get yelled at, don't y'all be running in and out my house, letting these flies in and letting the good air out. Y'all playing around. You either going to be in or you out. And they got to a point, man, our parents, man, they locked that door on your tail. You thirsty? Hey, there's a hose on the back, hose on the side. You know what I'm saying? You got to pee, find a tree. So, yeah, the 80s were great. 80s, 90s, man, hey, hands down, in my opinion, one of the best eras, out there as to be a kid and grow up in. But the 90s as a high schooler, oh, my goodness. As a middle school, high school age individual, oh, my goodness, the 90s was phenomenal. The 90s was phenomenal. Shout out to my guy, Jeff, over at It's Not Your Fault with the $11 super chat. He says, I'm confused. How dare leftists try and assume their voters' gender without asking them? Does Dylan Mulvaney count as a white man? Thank you, Jeff, for the $11 super chat. Leave it to Jeff to come in with the shenanigans. Shout out to John Thomas, first time pulling up, man. First time joining ARP in the morning, man. Thank you very much. Pulling up from South Alabama. Y'all make sure y'all show John Thomas some love in the chat. Y'all make sure y'all show him some love, man. Thank you for pulling up this morning. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, man. I really, really appreciate it. K-Shay said he's late. She's late. You're not late. And shout out to you, Rome, Georgia. I got some family out in that area, out in the Rome area. Pam Westcott with the $5 super sticker. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. Thank you very much. What up, Swayze? What's going on with you, brother? Appreciate you pulling up this morning. All right. Peanut, be safe out there, man. Be safe out on the road while you're listening. But thank you very much, man. Thank you very much. Dr. Kyla says, I'm in the building today. Yes, she is. Yes, she is. Appreciate you pulling up. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate you guys. I missed something. All right. Shout out to Marla. God bless America 856 with the $5 super chat. She said, Marla in the house, best show on YouTube. Thank you very much, Marla. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. That is a blessing. I'm blessed. You blessed me by saying that, man. Thank you very much. We are trying. All right, let's get the show started, man. Hit that like button for me if you haven't done so already. We have 276 people in the building. Hit that like button for me if you haven't done so already. If you'd like to participate in the show, super chats will stop the show. Super thanks will stop the show. Anybody that joins the ARP family, that will stop the show. They will be acknowledged. Anybody that gifts an ARP family membership, that will stop the show, and they will be acknowledged. I do appreciate you guys, man. I appreciate everybody that supports the channel financially. Definitely appreciate that, man. It is not taken for granted. I do appreciate you guys, man. Let's get the show started.
100,000 men a year, 58,000 men a month, 14,000 men a week, 2,000 men a day, 86 men every hour, and about 1 man every 2 minutes. My encouragement for everybody is that you tell that man, that brother, that son, that uncle, that father, that you love him, that you see him, that you're proud of him. To all my brothers out there, to all my men, I see you. I'm proud of you. I love you. But most importantly, God loves you. Never forget it. Listen, man, I know it's tough. I get it. But listen, you must keep going. You must keep fighting, because quitters never win and winners never quit. Happy Men's Mental Health Month.
Alrighty, so we talked about this yesterday, and I want to, make sure that we continue to bring awareness this month to Men's Mental Health Month. It is the month of June. I'm sure a lot of you guys probably didn't know because it's been overshadowed, by the alphabet community. You know what I'm saying? But we are going to talk about them today, but we're not going to talk about them until a little later today in the show. But this is Men's Mental Health Month. And periodically throughout this month, we are going to discuss some key topics that I think are important for men. So today's quote is, your mental health is just as important as your physical health. And what that means is that your emotional, your psychological, and social well-being deserves the same attention and care as your body does. And here's what it really gets at and what that really means. What's going on, Louise? How's it going this morning? And I did see my girl Crystal pull up this morning. Shout out to you, Crystal Beyond Labels. Appreciate you pulling up this morning. But what this actually means is that you cannot thrive if your mind is unwell. Even if your body is strong, just like physical injuries, they can slow you down or keep you from living fully. So can anxiety, depression, trauma, or chronic stress. Neglecting mental health, it can lead to some real physical consequences out there. We're talking about, stress. Stress, it can raise, blood pressure. It can weaken your immune system. It can disrupt sleep, or digestion. the mind and the body are deeply connected. And for whatever reason, society often treats physical illness with urgency, but downplays mental struggles. And this phrase is really just a reminder to break that double standard. Just like you see a doctor for a broken bone, you should seek help for emotional pain as well. And prevention matters in both areas: regular exercise, getting good sleep, nutrition, taking your nutrition properly, or just focusing on good nutrition, and yes, therapy, rest, boundaries, and having honest conversations and having people that you can that you can lean on, that you can depend on. Because a lot of times, a lot of us men, even when we have friends, we don't normally get into real conversations. We don't normally, have real conversations, with each other. A lot of times our conversations are surface level. We're not really like women where we'll get together and we'll, flush out our problems. We don't really do that. But I do think it's important that we have somebody, that we can lean on, to be able to get things off our chests. Because the brother here, what he was describing, or not describing, or what he was talking about was the amount of men who, are, for YouTube's sake, unaliving themselves. And, it's the number one killer of men, in this country. It's self-inflicted wounds. And, it needs to be discussed, man. So I want to make sure periodically throughout this month, man, we're going to jump out there, and we're going to discuss some key issues, in men's mental health, because I think it's important. It's something that's not really discussed nowhere near as much as it should be. And the reality of it is, in America right now, we have a mental health crisis going on in this country. We really do. For whatever reason, it's not discussed. It's a taboo subject. No one really wants to talk about it. But we do have a mental health crisis, and it's men, but our children are suffering, women are suffering. It's an issue that we have across the board. It really, really is. So it's not discussed. And when it comes to men, I mean, it's definitely not discussed on the level that it should be. It just isn't. So in short, hey, men, women who have husbands, who have sons, who have fathers. I mean, I would assume that all you guys have fathers, if they are still alive, encourage them, because they deserve to be healthy, not only in mind, in body, or they deserve to be healthy, in mind and in body. It's extremely important, and taking care of, all of these steps, it's extremely important, man. It just really is, the physical aspect and the mental aspect, extremely important, man. So, periodically throughout the month, this month, with it being, Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, I want to make sure that we, just continue to bring attention, to and discuss some of the issues, at hand. So, but yeah, men definitely are suffering in silence. You have a lot of brothers out there, and sisters as well, suffering from PTSD and, other things, from their time, while they served in the military. And, it's unfortunate, man. It really, really is. It really is.
Talk to white guys watching football, fixing their truck.
First of all, we don't speak in code. We're not aliens. Second of all, I might recommend to the governor that if your first move at a political event is to go right to the jazz hands, maybe you're not speaking the correct language, that you think you're speaking, perhaps a different dialect, but this was maybe the dumbest analysis of the 2024 election I'd ever seen. I mean, we know why he was chosen, because she couldn't pick the correct choice because he was Jewish. Let's be honest. She should have picked the governor of Pennsylvania, and her party wouldn't let her do it. So she ends up picking this camouflage hat-wearing buffoon that comes from your state. who I am convinced actually cost her votes, but I am more than glad was on the ticket so that J.D. Vance could kick his ass at the debate.
Why do you think it is that Democrats have had such a hard time convincing men and young men in particular of their message lately, and conservatives have been much more successful at it through Trump? It's
very simple, because they care more about dudes who want to be women than dudes who just want to be dudes. That is the main reason.
Hey, Scott Jennings is that dude, man. All right, so we're gonna move the show on, and we got to talk about one of the most unserious politicians walking the earth right now, and that would have to be Minnesota governor and failed VP auditionee Sugar Tim Walz, or as some folks like to call him affectionately, Tampon Tims. He's earned these nicknames, man. He's earned those nicknames. He's earned them. Now, Walz, he decided to weigh in on the Democratic Party's ongoing crisis with young men. Y'all know Democrats are currently pouring over $20 million into figuring out why they're bleeding support from young dudes across the country. And instead of taking a hard look at their actual policies, their messaging, or the way that they constantly, villainize masculinity, Tim Walz has cracked the daggone case. He's cracked the code. He said he had a conversation with his son, and if you guys seen his son, and this is also the guy raising him. I don't know if that's the guy you want to be taking advice, from in reference to what young men are looking for, from their politicians or from their country. But according to Walz, the problem isn't what Democrats are doing. No, that is not the problem. It's that Republicans, especially Trump, are just more entertaining. That's what he said. That's what he said. His son told him that, hey, Trump's more entertaining. That's what he said. Apparently, young men don't care about the economy, inflation, crime, or jobs. They just think that President Trump is a comedian. They think he's just way more funny than Biden or Kamala Harris or anybody else they have up out there for right now. and Walz, this dude genuinely believes that the root of the problem is they're just not entertaining enough for young people. I mean, this is the level of analysis that we're dealing with right now in 2025 from the Democrat Party. They've reduced an entire generation of disillusioned, politically homeless young men to an audience looking for a laugh track, and they wonder why they're losing. I don't know for the life. Who's in charge of this? I can't think of the young dude. We've talked about him, but who's in charge of this? Who decided that, hey, we're going to spend $20 million to speak to young people? Who to study, not even to speak, to study how to speak. Democrats sure love a study, don't they? They sure love a study. They said the same thing about reparations. How many times have you guys heard that, hey, man, we putting a bill up to study? They sure love a study. That's right, David Hall. They love a study. They love studying things. They don't have any plan on actually doing anything, but they sure love a study. Flat out ridiculous, man.
This because I'm proud to say it looks like as of next Tuesday, I'm going to have a high school graduate with my son, Gus. And he's pretty in tune to this. But when he said this, he said, Dad, a lot of these young guys, especially, said they're not voting on the policy issues. And he wasn't dissing them. He said they may know the policy issues, but most of them don't. They're doing it because there's a sense of excitement, a sense of thrill in this. It's entertainment or whatever. We all dismiss that. Donald Trump's a clown. Donald Trump's rallies are a clown. This MMA fighting stuff and this, and look, you start veering in to the Andrew Tate stuff, which is dangerous misogyny and, assault issues and all of that. But there's a peripheral side of that is not criminal, but is still going down the same road. of saying you got a place to belong. And I think this is me just pontificating for what it's worth. Social media and other things have disconnected people more than they were. We were more connected in my generation. It was easier to be a kid when I was growing up. And I've always said this as a teacher, if you don't give a kid a place to belong, they'll go find one. So why you want them to be involved in sports and music and things in school, because they will go find a group of folks. And I think Donald Trump understands belonging, understand groups. I mean, you look at it. He gives them a uniform, the red hat. He gives them some chants, some talking points, whatever. It's not that all that different than when we build sports teams in high school. You belong, you're part of this. It's not so much the policies. I think it's incredibly dangerous, but I don't think we went out to get them. We didn't out to make them feel a part of this.
He said he doesn't think it's the policies. Who was that? Who was that said that right there? Who was that? Hold up. Thank you, Candace Hall. Thank you for putting that up there. His own family said don't vote for him. Yeah, his own family said don't vote for Tim. That's true. B says, why is he so red? Toxic shock. Come on now, B. I'm going to show it. I'm not going to read it. Y'all are ridiculous. B, you are ridiculous. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Shout out to Dion with the $5 super chat. Says always learning and never able to come up. Hold up. Always learning and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 7. Thank you. Thank you, Dion, for the $5 super chat. Oh, yeah. These Democrats, man, they love a study. They love a study. They don't plan on doing anything, though. They don't have any intent on doing anything. But they will study the heck out of stuff. Now, somebody mentioned there must be a lot of money in studying. There is. I mean, you got to think about it, man. If they do a study, $20 million, who's getting the $20 million to put the report together for this study? It's got to be some daggone, it's probably a multitude of firms out there. It's a multitude of firms out there who probably don't even have men participating in this. So, you know, hey, man, they love a study. They have no intent on actually doing anything, but there is a lot of money in the study of everything. There's a lot of money in the study that goes to, that goes to the, what do you call those firms? They're not lobbying. They are consulting firms out there. They do these studies. They'll get $4 or $5 million to study. They'll probably give a kickback to whoever the politician is that gave them that contract. There's money in the studying. That's the game out here. You know what I'm saying? In the DMV, that is the game. Everybody's trying to get a government contract. In these research studies, oh my goodness, man, they pay well. I mean, they just said $20 million for research to figure out how to talk to young men. I mean, heck, man, I don't need $20 million. I could give you the talking points. They're not going to do it. I could give you the game. They're not going to do it. I mean, it's ridiculous. Shout out to my guy Aaron over at Freebiz Network. He says, well, Wise, the one thing you and I will be together on is I'm going to do all I can to make sure these folks never win again. A damn study. Yeah, that's all they do is study, though. But there's money in the study. That's the thing. That's the grift right there. There's money in the study. There's so much money in this, man. Everybody, I know in this area, everybody is trying to get a government contract in some shape, way, form, or fashion. It is the lifeblood of this area out here. And these research firms, there are firms out here that's all they do is research. That's it. They get these government contracts for studies and they just research. And there is a lot of money to be made researching and studying. But this guy here, Waltz, I'm not for sure why he's so red in the face right now. He must have, been at the beach or something along those lines. I don't know. Out in the sun. Maybe he was out there. You know what? I'm not even gonna go there with him. But this guy Waltz, man, he has to be one of the most politically tone deaf figures in office today. He's got to be. I mean, this guy is a walking case study in how mediocrity continues to just keep getting promoted in politics, man. And honestly, it's baffling that Minnesotans looked at this man and said, oh yeah, that's our guy. That's our governor right there. Not once, but twice. This dude, he is a 2-term governor. I had to look it up because I had heard it somewhere, and I was like, wait, this dude got elected twice? Not once, but twice. This dude is a 2-term governor out there in Minnesota. I'd say it's unbelievable, man, that they voted this guy in there twice. So, and think about this, man. He got in the first time in 2018. The riots, the George Floyd riots and all that type of stuff, they burnt the city down. That happened in the summer of 2020, if I'm not mistaken. This dude got voted in again in 22. How? I'll give you the pass for 18. But how y'all gonna vote this dude in 22? After all of the shenanigans of 2020. How? I want to know that. Seriously. Dude's a 2-term governor, man. Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I had to go double check. I was like, wait, hold up, man. This dude got in there twice. Once before and once after. Because the last election was 2022. Crazy that dude got voted in. Dion says, she said, they got to be stuck on stupid in Minnesota. Hey, that's the only thing that I could come to. That's the only conclusion that I could come to is that, good Lord, what is going on up there in daggone Minnesota? How y'all let this happen, man? And here's where it gets even more ridiculous. Waltz recently jumped into an ongoing Democrat panic over losing young male voters. And instead of engaging in any real self-reflection, this dude just doubled down on some of the most shallow, surface level takes imaginable. I mean, it's not the policies that are turning men away. It's divides. I'm telling you, man, these daggone Democrats, man, they something else, man. They are something else. According to Waltz, via wisdom passed down from his son, the reason young men are gravitating towards Trump and the GOP isn't because of issues like crime, the economy, the demonization of boys and men, in this country that we've seen and witnessed, and some of us that have experienced from the left, or the collapse of just basic cultural values. No, that's not the reason. That's not the reason. His reasoning is it's because the Republicans, GOP, are more entertaining. That's the insight. That's your 2-term governor up there in Minnesota. That's the insight right there. That's a multi-million-dollar diagnosis right there. This is crazy, man. Shout out to Freeman's Network with the $5 super chat. Says Ta-Nehisi Coates, Dr. Darity, and Dr. Claude Anderson have done the work of studying already. Yeah, I like Dr. Claude Anderson. I've read a couple of his books. I actually own a couple of his books. I like Dr. Claude Anderson a lot. But folks don't want to listen to Dr. Claude Anderson, not to pivot off of, my topic, but folks don't want to listen to Dr. Claude Anderson. I'm not a big fan of Ta-Nehisi Coates, and I'm not familiar with Dr. Darity. But I am familiar, and I do appreciate, the wisdom of the great Dr. Claude Anderson. And what he suggested should have been implemented 35, 40 years ago, what he's been suggesting. And what he said would happen has transpired. And if we keep going at the trajectory that we're going right now, it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. Shout out to Tracy Day with the $5 super chat. She says, how about his wife? She said she has to open her windows so she could smell her city burn down. Yeah, she said that. She said that. She said that. And DeJuan Davis, yes, I agree with you, man. Dr. Claude Anderson is solid. And Barb Blake, I do agree with you as well. I do agree with you as well. That entire state is a mess, man. It really, really is. It really is. It is. What's going on, Eric Taco Marino? I know your family gave you that name, Taco. I know they did. But back to Waltz here. His sentiment, his thoughts, it's not just a Waltz problem, though. It's not just him. This is a full-blown Democratic Party delusion. They've convinced themselves that the problem isn't what they do. The problem isn't what they do. It's not their policies. It's how they say it. They think that they can repackage radical policies in a TikTok dance or, a relatable ad. It will make up for the fact that they openly mock traditional masculinity, ignore the working class, and ignore the struggles of the working class and frame men as societal villains. That's what they think. And even worse, it's condescending. It really is. It implies that young men are too dumb to grasp real policy differences or too distracted by memes and video games to think critically. Or even more absurdly, that these men actually agree with the Democrats deep down, they just don't realize it yet. This level of gaslighting, this level of delusion that we're dealing with these people is, I'd say it's unbelievable, but it's not. We're watching these people do this, but it is, it's completely out of touch. And honestly, it's not just out of touch, it's somewhat insulting. No amount of slick messaging can hide the fact that the product that these folks are selling, we don't want. And young men are definitely not buying it anymore. They're not buying it anymore. And men in general, they've woken up. They really have. That party over there is the anti-man party. If you are a heterosexual man, we're gonna take the faith out of it. If you are a heterosexual man that doesn't bend the knee to the wicked agenda of the Democrat Party, there's no place for you there. They only push, weak, effeminate men, zesty men, or men that have been, so browbeaten, by women that they would get out here and call themselves, feminist, a man that would call himself feminist. Those are the kind of men that they push. They're not interested, in, any man standing on a square, about his business. They're not interested in that at all. They have zero interest in that. They don't want that. They don't want it at all. Their agenda is a full-fledged threat to society as a whole. It really is.
I think it's a waste of money. Maybe these guys should spend their money on teaching men to not be such sexists. Maybe that's
it. But the stats don't bear that out now that
we've
seen the election result.
So now they don't need to figure out how to talk to men. They need to spend that money, that $20 million, to teach men how to not be sexist. How many of y'all in the chat think that's gonna work? How many of y'all in the chat think that that's right there is going to go over well? Come on now, let me rewind that.
But I think it's a waste of money. Maybe these guys should spend their money on teaching men to not be such sexists. Maybe that's
But the stats don't bear that out now that we've seen the election results. Donald Trump performed better than the previous several Republicans with most every people group. He did better with black men, better with Latino men, better with white men and white women. Like, it's just a fact that he has tapped into something. And what I think
But he was running against a woman, I'm telling you.
But I'm saying that
Marcus, I love it. I love it. That's the Democrat Party right there. Betas and militant feminists. That's the core. Man, spot on. Spot on.
black men, better with Latino men, better with white men and white women. Like, it's just a fact that he has tapped into something. And what I think
but he was running against a woman, I'm telling you.
But I'm saying that men showed up more for him. Oh, so you think that Democrats who were with Biden in 2020 left to be with Trump because they're sexist?
I don't know the reason, but it's very suspicious.
But I'll say this. Donald Trump has made himself the anti-establishment despite being the entire political establishment. And what I used to like about liberals is they were the anti-establishment. You protested Vietnam, you were civil rights.
Flip-flop.
Now you guys just defend the status quo, like to death. Like during Doge, you're like, don't touch a single federal program. Nobody likes the federal government. No one thinks it works well. No one's like, this is the solution. Let's not try to improve anything. I think there's like more of an imagination and policy issue that Democrats have, to your point. Ask how you can solve people's day-to-day problems better.
That's what politicians used to do. Public servants find problems, then get solutions.
Well,
you don't say, how do I get you to vote for me by changing how I talk to you? That's treating people like they're stupid.
Absolutely. That's who they are. They don't think men are very smart. They don't. And what's going on, Chef G-Rap? Appreciate you pulling up this morning, brother. Hope all is well. These people are, they're so out of touch. They're so out of touch. Oh my goodness. They're so out of touch. Goodness gracious. Shout out to Crystal Beyond Labels with the $5 super chat. She says the Democratic Party is controlled by the Jezebel spirit. The View hosts are filled with Jezebel. Yes, Lord. You are absolutely right there. You're absolutely right there. Oh my goodness, man. They don't understand that men aren't rocking with them because men don't feel like they belong in the party. And the thing about men, the thing about us as men, we never want to be where we are not wanted. We can feel the vibe and we're like, you know what? This ain't it. I'm out. We're okay. Most men are okay being alone. We are. And we for daggone sure don't have to be a part of a group just for the sake of being a part of a group. We don't have to do that either. We don't. And the fact that, they could say, oh, well, it's only because Kamala was a woman. That's the reason why men decided not to vote for her. That wasn't the reason why. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't the reason why. Her policies suck. Her policies were terrible. Noah's Khan, you're absolutely right. Men are mostly lone wolves. You're absolutely right. We don't need a bunch of people. We just don't need it. And we also understand where we are not wanted, we will not be there. We will get up out of there. Seriously. Buddha says, what policy? Who was that? Chrissy Jane said, what policies? Yeah. Whatever policies her Democrat overlords were going to give her to implement. I mean, what would the United States look like today if Kamala would have won? Seriously. What would the world look like today if she would have won? But that also goes to show you how disrespectful, a lot of these women are out there, especially these women here on The View, to say that men, it's sexist. We are so stupid that we can't look at the parties or the policies for what they are, or candidates for who they are and what they've presented, we can't look at that and make a decision. It's down to a binary option solely based on gender. And that's the reason why men decided not to support Kamala Harris. I find it pretty ridiculous, to be honest with you. And if that's your way of attracting men, it's not going, that's a terrible way to go about things. That's a terrible way to go about it.
Stupid.
Well, I also think it's just so abundantly clear that the people who say these things don't actually spend time talking to young men. You know this because we know each other in real life, but I spend a lot of time on college campuses, and I spend a lot of time with young men. I love young men. I love frat guys, and in that I realized, like, even the ones that identify as conservative are almost always pro-choice. They're almost always pro-gay marriage. You'd be surprised at the number of them who supported Black Lives Matter. And so I feel like people just kind of lump them into this box when the truth is, again, a lot of them are with us on the issues. They're talking to young men. You know this because we know each other in real life, but I spend a lot of time on college campuses, and I spend a lot of time with young men.
A college campus is not a real reflection of young men in this country due to the fact that young men aren't going to college. And the young men that are in college right now, there's not that many. College campuses right now are probably 65, 70% women right now. College campuses. And the fact that she gets on there and say, I go to a lot of college campuses. Unfortunately, the young men on college campuses, they've been brainwashed. They've been indoctrinated. They've been programmed. And in all actuality, I almost don't think that they actually believe those things, but it's not safe for you to go against those things that she mentioned on a college campus. It's not safe for you to say that, hey, I don't rock with BLM, or I'm anti-alphabet community. It's not safe for you to say those things on a college campus because college campuses are not bastions of free speech and critical thinking anymore. They're not that. If they ever were, I don't even know if a college campus in America ever was a bastion for free speech and critical thinking, and the ability to have your own thoughts and to stand on it and to be able to articulate those. I don't even know, if that was ever the place. Actually, it was in the 50s, 60s, because a lot of the debates and conversations that you would see from back in the day would happen on college campuses. But today, 2025, man, a college campus it's not a safe place for a young man to come out and say that, hey, I'm against, all of this woke foolishness. That's not a safe place. They would probably burn your dorm room down if you came out like that, if you came across like that as a young man.
I love young men. I love frat guys. And in that, I realized, like, even the ones that identify as conservative are almost always pro-choice. They're almost always pro-gay marriage. You'd be surprised at the number of them who supported Black Lives Matter. And so I feel like people just kind of lump them into this box when the truth is, again, a lot of them are with us on the issues. They're just not part of our coalition because they feel like they're not welcome.
There's some truth to that too. There's some truth in the sense of what the last statement there, that, guys aren't a part of that party, and they're not a part of that group of people because they don't feel welcome. And we've been seeing this. They're not welcome. They're not welcome. They're not welcome. If you are a straight man, you're not welcome in their party. Look at who they push to the front. And, if you are a black man, oh my gosh, you're not welcome there as a straight man unless you're, on the zestier side of things, Oh man. Well, let's call it what it is, man. Let's call it what it is, man. The Democrat Party is they're in denial. And instead of owning up to why young men are leaving in droves, they've decided to spin fairy tales to protect their own egos. A lot of these Democrats, man, they are egomaniacs, man. You know, a lot of these feminists out there, egomaniacs. Their pride and ego is off the charts, man. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, one of the least impressive politicians in America, thinks that he stumbled upon the answer. You know, according to him, or more accurately, I mean, like we said earlier, I mean, his son, the reason young men are turning to Trump or the GOP isn't about policy. It's because conservatives are more entertaining. You know, that's the diagnosis. You know, not the economy, not crime, not the war on masculinity, not the demonization of young men and boys in this country. No, not that. This is the same party that's dumping $20 million into research and outreach to figure out why they've lost young men. You know, you don't need a study. You really don't. But I would assume that they're going to spend some more money, you know what I'm saying, trying to research how they can speak to the Black community. Because those numbers are dwindling. You have more and more Black people after the election that are like, wait, I cannot believe I voted for that lady. They regret their vote. There's a lot of people that I've spoke to personally that regret voting the way that they voted in November. So I would assume that in the next 6 months, there's going to be a study about how we can get these Black folks back on the Democrat plantation. What can we do? I mean, they're already sending, you know, Clyburn out the churches and Crockett out the churches, you know what I'm saying? And telling Black folks, y'all got to get on board with this agenda. Y'all got to get on board with it. I know you a Christian. You know, I know y'all love the Lord. I know y'all go to church, but this alphabet community, this agenda, it ain't going nowhere. And y'all got to get on board with it. Your faith, you know what I'm saying? Your beliefs, we don't care. They don't really need a study, though. I mean, if you look at the numbers, in 2020, Biden won voters under 30 by 24 points. By 2024, that margin has been cut in half, down to just 12 points among young men. And according to March 2024 Harvard Youth Poll, it's even worse for Democrats. Trump is leading among young men age 18 to 29 in multiple battleground state polls. That's not a messaging issue. That's a value issue. Young men 18 to 21 are going conservative because they just got out of a super feminized public education or public indoctrination centers. You know what I'm saying? That's been telling them that who you are, the way God made you, is toxic. Who wants to be a part of a group that will tell you something like that? But Democrats, man, they refuse to face it. And instead, they keep saying that young men are either too dumb to get progressive policy or they're actually liberal. They just don't know it yet. And that in itself, it's insulting. That's arrogant. These people, they are super prideful and their egos are their egos are outrageous. When all else fails, they pull out the same tired cards. You know, these guys, hey, if they don't get on board with us, they got to be sexist. You got to be racist. Oh, it's misogynist. Yeah, hey, they're misogynists. That's the reason why they don't rock with us. That's why. And let's be real. The Democratic Party has built a base that appeals to college-educated, activist-minded women and feminized men who go along with it. Betas who go along with it. There's no room for masculine men. There's no room for traditional values or any worldview that doesn't revolve around, DEI slogans and identity politics. And when men reject that, when they say no thanks to being blamed for every social ill, that's going on in this country right now, you know what I'm saying? The Democrats, man, they don't listen. They just belittle. They mock. They infantilize. That's it, man. Tim Walz thinks young men need to be entertained, and I completely disagree with that. No, Governor Walz, they need to be respected. We're not looking for entertainment. We're looking to be respected for who we are. Honestly, unfortunately, college right now in America, there's some of the worst places that you could send, there's some of the worst places that you could send your young man. Some of the worst places. Let's keep things moving. It's my last my last story of the day.
Of common sense is going. What he said today is going to wash over here because he's going to isolate our government. All right, and all these woke Berks who've been claiming there's 56 genders are toast. They've had the halcyon days of getting away with woke gobbledygook is done. Yeah, so you had Trump's crew, which obviously was all the Trump family, J.D. Vance, Vivek Ramaswamy, Elon Musk, Dana White, Tim Cook from Apple, Jeff Bezos and his missus, who had a cannons out in like a corset, like dressed inappropriately for like an inauguration, and then Zuckerberg on that side because he's flipped over now, Annie. Bezos, Tim Cook from Apple, Musk and Zuckerberg. What more do you need? They're like the richest people in America, aren't they? They're all on his side. Anyway, Zuckerberg's got collared having a little sneaky peek at Lauren's assets. The internet just keeps the receipt and they've got him, yeah. He had a little sneaky beady eye and got collared standing next to her.
All right, shout out to Eric Smith with the $5 super chat. He says, speaking of egos, how is crime going down in Baltimore? Are they fudging the numbers again? You know what time it is in Baltimore, man. Come on now. You seen The Wire? You know what time it is. Come on now. You know what time it is. Oh, man. But I want to get into it, man. We got to get into it real fast. I'm calling it. The woke movement, I'm going to say it's dead, but some may say it's dying. Some may say. The movement isn't just fading, it's gasping for air right now. It's dying. It's on the final stages, clinging to relevance like a washed up celebrity begging for one more spotlight moment. There are still a few stubborn holdouts, but make no mistake, the tide has turned. I mean, look around, man. Look around you. The corporate virtue signaling that we've come to expect every June, it's vanishing. We talked about this earlier. This month is Men's Mental Health Month. But most of you guys probably didn't know that June was Men's Mental Health Month. Most of y'all didn't know that. In 2021, over 400 Fortune 500 companies slapped a rainbow over their logos like clockwork. And now in 2025, that number has plummeted. Companies like Amazon, Microsoft, even Nike has gone silent this month. No badge, no changes, no parades, no performative marketing. And, not just in the Middle East or Asia, nowhere. Now we know what time it is in the Middle East. They don't play that. And we know what time it is in Asia. They don't play that either. The Chinese, they're about masculinity over there. They are. The public, though, here in America, fed up. The public's fed up. Now, they said because of the weather, out here where I live at, they were supposed to have some pride parade or something along those lines. It got canceled. They said because of the weather, or not canceled, but postponed. Hopefully it's just canceled, hopefully. But they said they were doing, I don't even know where they were doing it at. I just seen it because I'm a part of the county that I live in, so I get to see the blogs and the blotters that come from the police department. I like to kind of stay I like to stay in the know of what's going on in my community. If you are not doing that, you should definitely do that. There's a lot going on all around you. You should know about it. But you got governments, they're pulling back on this too. Voters are demanding real answers to real problems. Real answers to real problems. Crime, inflation, border chaos, not lectures about gender identity. And even liberal strongholds are quietly shelving DEI departments and scaling back pride initiatives. I'm not going to go deep off into it, but there's a lot of people, being laid off. A lot of women being laid off. I think they said black women, there was like 106,000 black women laid off recently. There's another list of women that have been laid off recently. I worked in corporate America for 15 years. A lot of you guys, I've talked about this before, but the last stint of my time in corporate America before the layoffs came, people need to understand that these companies, they're not loyal to you. They're not. If you work a job, God bless you, but understand that these companies don't care about you. These HR departments, they don't care about you. They don't. They will cut you to save $1. I worked HR, worked corporate staffing. I've been in that space. I've been in these meetings. Trust me, they do not care about you at all. They will cut you to save $1. People got to understand that these companies, especially if they are publicly traded, they have a fiduciary responsibility to their shareholders, not their employees, their shareholders. The sooner you realize that, the better you will be. I remember when the layoffs came, where I was at. I'm not going to tell y'all my last place where I was at, but the last place I was at, I remember you could see like these layoffs are coming. And I worked at a fairly large tech company at the time. It was a pretty large tech company. But you could see the writing on the wall probably about 6 months, maybe 10 months prior to the actual layoffs happening, right? Now, I've been one of those people because I worked in commission positions because where I was at, I was like I was like on the sales side of things. I was in the sales for a long time. So I worked commission for a very, very long time. And commission, for those of you guys that don't know, if you can sell, if you work in commission-based situations, it could be fairly recession-proof to an extent. If you can actually sell, if you are actually making money. But my last stint, in corporate America, all these DEI departments started popping up, right? You'd see all these DEI departments that was starting to pop up. Heck, I even got asked to manage, one of these departments. I turned it down. I was like, I don't want any parts of it. I didn't see a future in it. I was like, this is new. And I'm not gonna lie to you. The people who had these quote unquote diversity certifications that were in charge of these DEI departments, I knew it then. I was like, these people are going to get cut. These people are going to be fired when all this stuff goes away. And to be honest with you, a lot of these folks, man, if you guys have ever worked in corporate America, or if you've been around some of these people that are in these DEI departments, they are extremely insufferable. When somebody gets into a meeting and they got to tell you their pronouns, who they like to sleep with before they actually get into what we came here to, or what we sat down to discuss, we're just sitting there like, what the heck is going on? And I got to say this, you know what I'm saying? The demographic of people in these DEI departments, they were all black people and they were all black women. I'm just saying. This is just my experience. I don't know if this is across the board, but I've talked to some other people out there who worked in similar spaces, and they said the same thing. All these companies, all these corporations, they created these DEI departments to police the company, to make sure that there's diversity and things of that nature, that they implemented these policies into the company. These are some of the most insufferable people you will ever work with in your life. Seriously. And I mean, these aren't low-paying jobs either. Like if you were a diversity manager, I mean, these are jobs that pay $150,000, $200,000 a year. These aren't low-paying jobs. They just aren't. So a lot of these layoffs that you see are companies getting rid of their DEI departments. And typically, I know where I was at, it wasn't a huge department, but I believe they probably hired, maybe 20 people to work in this this department. And they had managers and all this other kind of stuff. And then there was every C-level, every company, they had a C-level position. And I can't think of the title of the C-level position, but it would be right there on the same level. It'd be like a VP. It'd be on the level of a VP, and it'd be like a diversity officer or something along those lines. In these positions, they pay a lot of money. They pay a lot of money, those positions. And, I just knew, I was like, man, I don't see a future in it because they didn't help. What's the word I'm looking for? They didn't help improve the culture in our company. They didn't. And I'm just speaking on my own experience. I'm sure you guys have your own experience. I'm just speaking on my experience. They didn't help to foster a positive culture, in my opinion. And the team that I was on, and where I was at, man, it was a pretty diverse team before they implemented, because I was there before they had the DEI, what do you call it? The diversity department. And then I was there, after the fact. And I'm telling you, man, they didn't help with the culture. They just didn't. They actually brought things down. We would leave meetings and just be like, and me and some of my friends, we would get, offline and we'd be like, man, what the heck was that? What was that? Everything but about how we're going to make some money. How are we going to improve the company? Because the reality of it is this, man, people need to understand this, man. When you work for a company, your job is to figure out how you can be an asset to the organization. That's your job. How you can be an asset to the organization's bottom line. When you work in these DEI departments, they were an added cost. They didn't really bring any real value, add to the bottom line. They just didn't. That's just my opinion. And again, these are some of the most insufferable people you will ever meet. The virtue signaling was off the charts. I'm just going off of what I've seen. I'm just going off my own experience. This is what I had a chance to see and what I witnessed. You know what I'm saying? And what I experienced. I mean, it was terrible. So when I got offered like, hey, we got this position, we think you'd be a good fit for it. No, thank you. I didn't see a future in it. I just didn't. So I'm glad to see that companies are, shelving these DEI departments and, scaling back on these pride initiatives. I'm glad to see it. I really am. But the last to get the memo, though, is publicly funded institutions like PBS, yes, Sesame Street. You know what? While I'm thinking about it, I got to pull this up for you guys. I don't know if you guys had a chance to see this, but this is the reason why at this point now, I think, hey, we got to daggone defund PBS, NPR. We got to defund all of that. All of it. It's got to go. It's got to go. We can't be taxpayer money. Taxpayer money can't be funding this type of foolishness, man. Seriously. Y'all got to see this right here, man. Let me see if I can pull it up. Look at this right here, man.
It's time to finally unveil Alan's monster makeover!
Oh, it's uncanny. Ellen looked just like Jonathan Van Ness.
Cookie Monster Cookie, that is Jonathan Van Ness.
Elmo, Cookie, are you ready to see my monster piece?
Ready, Jonathan!
Mama Bear, some run.
In the chat, who's letting your kid watch Sesame Street? Who's letting your kid watch Sesame Street? This is being funded by the taxpayers.
It's time to finally unveil Alan's monster makeover!
Oh, it's uncanny. Ellen looked just like Jonathan Van Ness.
Cookie Monster Cookie, that is Jonathan Van Ness.
Elmo, Cookie, are you ready to see my monster piece?
Ready, Jonathan!
Mama Bear, some runway music, please.
Oh, yeah.
People and monsters alike, a round of applause for the Not Too Late Show's newest monster, Alan. Ta-da! Alan Monster is wearing the latest and high.
Okay, that's about all I can take. I'm sorry. This dude jumped out there and said, monster piece. I didn't know what he was talking about. I didn't know what he was talking about, but this is public. This is publicly funded. Taxpayers are paying for this. Taxpayers are paying for this. No, thank you. How many of you guys letting your children, your grandchildren, your nieces, nephew, when they come over your house, they say, hey, you know, grandma, granddad, you know, aunt, uncle, dad, mom, I want to watch that Sesame Street. How many of y'all letting them watch this foolishness? Shout out to Crystal with the $2 super chat. She says that's evil and grooming. Shaking my head, Sesame Street. Yeah. Yeah. That's where we are right now, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Sesame Street, man. Sesame Street. Sesame Street. Yeah. They're also still trotting out daggone drag performers and rainbow flags for toddlers, clinging to an ideology that peaked half a decade ago because they're propped up by your tax dollars. And when the money doesn't depend on results, the nonsense never ends. For context, in 2023 alone, the U.S. government spent over $30 million on alphabet community support initiatives. The U.S. government spent $30 million on alphabet community support initiatives, some of which went to programs targeting children through schools and media. This is happening, man. And meanwhile, a record number of Americans, over 60%, according to Gallup, says that this agenda is being pushed entirely too far. People are tired of it. And that's a Gallup poll, says 60%. I would assume that those numbers are a whole heck of a lot higher. This isn't a cultural shift anymore. It's a cultural reversal. Companies are running from rainbow. They're running from the rainbow, not towards it. Politicians are now distancing themselves from identity politics, and everyday Americans, they're finally saying enough is enough. We're tired of this, man. The woke era, it's had its run, man. It's had its run, but now the backlash is here and it's not slowing down. Hey, when those folks, I still ain't drink a Bud Light. I ain't drinking no Bud Light. I ain't buying nothing. They can't get my money. Not at all.
Change. Microsoft? No change. Xbox? No change.
This guy's looking at the badges, on the different platforms out there from different companies to see if they're changing and pushing, continuing to push that rainbow agenda.
Disney? No change. Target. No change. Starbucks. Even Starbucks roached out on the gays? Of all the people to roach out on the gays, you're going to expect Starbucks to do it? Damn. Wow. Okay, let's see here. Bank of America. No change. Nothing. What about Blizzard? No change. What about World of Warcraft? Also no change. Google's homepage. Let me see. Google. Nothing.
Yeah, so he was just going through the companies that they hadn't changed logos, they hadn't changed badges on social media, so forth and so on, man. And what we're seeing right now, what we're seeing is a reality check, especially for corporate America. The government has already started to clamp down. They have, pulling funding from fringe programs and signaling that the woke gravy train, it's probably coming to an end. In the private sector, it's finally catching on there as well. Companies have realized something critical. All that noise on social media, the likes, the hashtags, the quote unquote viral videos doesn't translate into actual money. And like I said earlier, these companies, they have a fiduciary responsibility to their shareholders, not these super woke folks that talk crazy and reckless on the internet, but don't actually spend no money, don't actually buy their products. It doesn't build loyal customers. You know what I'm saying? If anything, it alienates people, who do spend money. It alienates people who do spend money. Working families, everyday Americans, men, the silent majority, who are tired of having this fringe ideology shoved into their daily lives, shoved down their throats on a day-to-day basis. People are tired of it, man. People are tired of it. And these companies are backing off. Quietly, strategically. No more rainbow logos. No more pride themed shoe drops. Not because, they suddenly grew a spine, but because the math ain't mathing for them. It don't work. They've been pandering to a loud minority. We're talking 5, maybe 10% of the market at best, maybe. While ignoring, 90% who just want good products without all the daggone lectures, and all that woke foolishness. Seriously. Shout out to Titanium Master with the $20 super chat. Says, thanks for the hard work. Thanks for your hard work helping us sane people ease back to better America. Thank you. Appreciate that, brother. Thank you for the $20 super chat. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you for supporting the channel. And here's the kicker, man. Here's the kicker. The younger generation that's most involved in this culture war, they're broke. Most of them can't leave home. More or less go out there and actually support an agenda financially. Are you kidding? Most of these young folks, man, they can't leave. They can't get off of their parents' teat right now. They're broke. They're not buying houses. They're not starting families, unfortunately. They're not dropping $500 on brand loyalty. It's not happening. So when corporations bow down to Gen Z and they bow down to these, woke social trends, they're not investing in future customers. They're burning bridges with the people that actually keep the lights on. Woke branding, it was always a marketing strategy, but now that it's failing to deliver returns, because y'all know this, what this is all about. It's about the return on investment. We're talking about corporate America here. It's about the return on investment. That's what this is about. It's triggered a backlash that, the strategy, it has to change because, again, these companies have a fiduciary responsibility to their shareholders, not these super woke folks online, not the DEI departments, you know what I'm saying, in their corporation, not those folks. It always comes back to the money. Why do you think these people push all this socialist stuff? You know, all this quote unquote equity. Because they don't even want you to make money. Think about that. They don't want you to have the ability to earn and take care of yourself. They don't want that. They want to do it for you. They want to tell you what you need or what you want so they can control you. People don't understand that socialism is basically just a fast track to slavery, essentially. Simple as that. But that's all I have for you guys today, man. I hope you guys enjoyed the show today. Shout out to all my blues, Brett Montgomery, T.A. Caskey, Coaster, B, Renee Suzanne, Zephyr K9. Shout out to all of you guys, man. Appreciate you guys keeping things flowing and keeping things peaceful in the chat. Definitely appreciate that. Tomorrow, will we do it tomorrow? No. Thursday, we're going to do a call-in show. Thursday, we'll do call-in show, so it'll be a little longer. Like I said, I'm trying my best to kind of keep things tight as much as I can. We're going to try to keep things tight right there to about an hour 15 to an hour and a half. We're going to try to do that. Excuse me. Shout out to True Texan. Appreciate you pulling up and appreciate the $5 super chat. He says, I got news for the woke folks. I will take an Ambien. I will take an Ambien. We all have to stand together and not let the small few divide the rest of us for any reason. I would agree with that. And thank you for the $5 super chat. Thank you very much, brother. If you hadn't done so already, man, make sure you hit that like button on your way out the building. Appreciate you pulling up this morning, man. It is Tuesday. I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. Make today a productive day. Make today a great day. Seriously. Let some of your let your brothers, let your fathers, let your uncles, nieces, nephews, let them know it's Mental Health Month, man, and let them know that you're here for them, that you are here to support them in any way that you can. And let people know that taking care of that mental health, man, is just as important as taking care of that physical health. Those two things, man, they work hand in hand. We gotta have both. Men. Take care of yourself. Let's take care of each other. Appreciate the love, man. You guys have a great day. Thank you very much, man. Everybody that supported the channel financially, thank you very much, man. Appreciate the super chats. Appreciate those that joined the ARP family today. Again, if you'd like to support the channel financially, joining the ARP family is a good way to do so. One of the other things, I think I am going to add in the gold membership for ARP family, I'd like to set up something where I can do like a weekly kind of meetup. And we can jump on. I don't know if we'll do it Zoom. I could probably do it in this particular platform here, but I think we'll get more people, via Zoom. And anybody that joins that, we'll do like one weekly meetup a week, or maybe every other week or so, so that we can get a chance to chop it up. You'll get a chance to. It won't be a show or anything along those lines. It will just be an opportunity to get in, see some people face to face. Have conversations. We can get in there. We can just chop it up. We can laugh. We can talk about whatever. You get a chance to ask me questions. You'll get a chance to do that. So I'll get that set up in the very, very near future. And then we'll go from there, man. But I do appreciate you guys, man. Keep God first. Stay prayed up. We'll catch up with you all next time. Peace.
Vibes so raw. Hide the truth. Words so sharp.